Alright, so what's going on, everybody? JA News. Salute to you for tuning in. So it's the Monday show. We're going to be catching up on this past weekend, as well as taking a look here at the week ahead in sneakers. Now, of course, the big talk has been surrounding Nike's recent financial report. We see sales are down once again. So in direct response, it looks like Nike will be implementing a new strategy. We're going to discuss how that directly affects us here at Sneakerheads. So guys, if you enjoy these updates, be sure to help support the channel by smashing the like button down below. You're watching JA News. Let's jump right into it. So to begin, we're going to start with one of this week's hottest upcoming releases. You got Saucony and J-Tips releasing the I Love You But I'm Busy collection. It's going to include clothing, footwear, as well as J-Tips take here on the Saucony Grid Jazz. So this is another one stamped by the streets ahead of the official release date. You can add this once again to J-Tips. Currently expanding catalog over at Saucony. Now I did touch on this release last Friday. It seemed like not too many people were engaged. So I felt compelled to kind of take my thoughts over to Twitter, where I mentioned that recently J-Tips, he's been sending these little subtle shots over at Nike and Jordan Brand. You know, they've been dominating the sneaker game for years now, but we're currently in a new era, and I feel like J-Tips could be one of the fresh faces of that new era, at least if he's got at least one more of these releases, you know, planned for us to drop later this year. To which he actually responded saying, what if I got 4? So the only thing I can say to that is say less, and I'm excited to see, you know, what he's been cooking up over there at Saucony. Now, as far as the official release dates on this upcoming drop, they are going to be releasing coming up here this Friday, the 28th, via J-Tips website. Retail is $150 on these, and then we can expect to see another release via Saucony sometime coming up later on here in April. Now, next up, we got a first look here at the unboxing of the upcoming Jordan 1 High OG UNC Reimagined. So as far as these right here, there's not too much to say about these other than they took the kind of like pre-aged, reimagined touch, similar to what we saw with the Lost and Found. So I feel like they did a solid job with this one. These are going to be dropping in full family sizing. And what we've noticed so far here in 2025 as Jordan Brand celebrates their 40th anniversary, as far as Jordan 1 colorways goes, it seems like there's not too many filler. And as far as the releases, it seems like we got banger after banger. So this is another one you can add to the list. Again, releasing in full family sizing coming up here May 10th. And apparently there are rumors floating around that those shattered backboard Jordan 1s, again, one of the hottest Jordan 1 releases of the year. It seems like early pairs are going to begin to surface coming up soon. So it's going to be cool to see what them joints look like as well. But as I mentioned, not too many filler Jordan 1 releases this year. Now, we also got a first look here at the Pharrell Williams Adidas Adistar Jellyfish Triple Black, which this first look comes courtesy of Pusha T. You guys already know the Virginia link up. He's been closely linked to Pharrell throughout his entire career. So this seems to be one of the most hyped unreleased upcoming new silhouettes from Adidas. That first debut pair is supposed to be releasing coming up here this fall. So I think it would be really cool to see them follow it up here with a triple black colorway. And as we take a look here at Pharrell and Adidas collaborations throughout the years, it's kind of interesting to see that, you know, as of recently, over the last few years or so, it kind of feels like Pharrell almost kind of like took a backseat to the Yeezy collaborations. But now that Yeezy's done with, it seems like Pharrell may be at the forefront of these hyped Adidas collaborations. So with this one right here, I think this is going to be a cool one that a lot of people will be excited for. Be on the lookout. And these will be releasing for $250. And if we look back, let's say take things back to like 2015, you guys remember how Pharrell and Adidas had y'all in a chokehold with those human-made releases, bro? Yeah, those were definitely some times. Now, as far as last weekend's releases, we saw Sneaker Politics team up with Asics for their take on the Gel Kayano 14. Now, this is just an example of Asics teaming up with some of their retail partners. You got Sneaker Politics, a very well-known boutique, releasing their take on this very popular model, which it seems like the Gel Kayano's like been a smash hit, super popular over the last 3 years or so. And the fact that these joints are pretty much sold out everywhere across all the different outlets, I would say it seems like that model is not slowing down anytime soon. Now, of course, we also saw Jordan Brand hit us with the Jordan 1 Low OG Obsidian. Now, the Sneakers app official drop, it looks like has been pushed back to this weekend. They were supposed to drop last Saturday, but that didn't stop other retailers from dropping these joints. So a lot of these pairs hit the streets early. If you guys are looking to secure your pair ahead of Saturday's official Sneakers app launch, it looks like good old Sneaker Politics, which we were just mentioning, it looks like they have just about a full size run available. So you guys can go ahead and lock these in, $140. And as far as the official Sneakers app release date, you guys can look forward to them joints dropping coming up this weekend. So if you're a fan of this sneaker, why not go ahead and secure these joints early? Now, we also saw Undefeated release the Zoom Spiridon, which I believe we actually saw a soft launch of this model in like a limited capacity previously, but now you got the wider release, which did go down via Undefeated. So you got the cargo khaki, you also had the Phantom colorway, which did come in at $160. So as far as Undefeated's take here on this classic Nike model, I would say they definitely did a good job to add a little spice and flair to this somewhat, what I would like to say, almost kind of like a boring model. So these joints ain't bad. And then speaking of Undefeated, you guys already know these are gonna go crazy. Set to drop coming up here this summer. You got the Undefeated Air Jordan 4, the classic, iconic release right here. So we got a little first look with some ugly shots here, some early impressions, but don't let these ugly looks fool you, because this is gonna be one that a lot of people are gonna be upset about. And as far as Undefeated, I'm just saying, like, y'all may have wanted to, go ahead and pick these up. Keep your face clean with Undefeated, because once these joints drop coming up here this summer, let's just say, many people are gonna be heartbroken. But we're not gonna jump into these too much, as we got this week ahead of us. We're not even in summer here yet, so just stay tuned for more details on these. Now, let's go ahead and talk about this Ma Maniére, their recent collaboration, which they teamed up on a little 3-pack, which expands across 3 iconic Nike and Jordan brand silhouettes. So you got the Air Force 1, the Air Max 95, as well as the Jordan 3. Now with Ma Maniére, it felt like, a few years back, they were kind of like one of the premier Jordan brand collaborators, but as of lately, it feels like they've kind of taken a back seat. As of lately, I would say it's probably due to more of their output. It seems like they're just releasing so much product that there's just so much stuff that the people really can't keep up with it. Now, as far as these 3 releases, I feel like these are all solid takes on these Jordan brand and Nike models. You got the Jordan 3 right here. You got the good black Air Force 1. And then, of course, you got a good pair of Air Max 95s. Now, as I mentioned previously, it kind of felt like, as far as Ma Maniére, they were like one of the big hype beasts collaborations with Jordan brand, but seems like now they've kind of taken things into a different direction, and with people that are kind of like fed up, with jumping through all these hurdles, everything that it takes to go ahead and grab these releases. I feel like Ma Maniére is more so catering towards kind of like a more refined, mature fan base, people that are more so into like a product which they feel like has a luxury feel to it. And once again, they don't have to really go so crazy to try and obtain these. So I feel like they've kind of more so lost a lot of that like Travis Scott Supreme hype type of crowd, but kind of have more geared themselves to a more refined, mature Kith. Almost I want to compare them to type of fan base right here. So these are some solid releases. This one's a cool one, catering to the ladies. It's got some good storytelling behind it. We do have the official release date for all 3 of these pairs coming up here this Saturday. And then salute to everybody that was able to secure their pairs early through EQL. So as I mentioned, it feels like Ma Maniére is kind of taking things into a different lane, and I think they're doing a great job, and I like what they're doing. So we're gonna go ahead and jump here into today's fit of the day, which if you guys ever wanna be featured here in this segment, all you simply gotta do is just tag me in your fits over on the gram. So for today's outfit here, we got our guy, let's see who we got stepping up. We got Moondog, 24-10, stepping up to the plate, looking like he's Tony Hawk's little bro who never made it pro but still likes to rock his SB. So you guys see him here with a good pair of SB Verdes on feet, paired up with this little Complex Con t-shirt right here, looking like he's not trying too hard, but he will flip you a pair of bricks that were normally selling for under retail for over retail right here. So as far as the fit right here, I like what I see. Matter of fact, the Complex Con tee is actually a 2022 Long Beach Complex tee. So I've actually never attended any of these events. Let me know if you guys have ever pulled up to Complex Con. I would say last year, that little Cactus Con joint definitely looked like it went crazy. So salute to Moondog, appreciate him submitting his outfit, and you guys know what to do. Go ahead and jump here in the comments, give your feedback, and of course, give this one a rating 0 out of 10. And with those quick updates out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and jump here into our main story, which of course the headlines have been going crazy. Everybody's been talking about Nike sales down after they released their recent financial report. Stock has also plummeted as well, but of course this is nothing new. We saw Nike stock actually drop last year. They fired their current CEO in favor for Elliott Hill, a previous well-known Nike employee, been with the company for years. He's back and he's looking to make some big changes, implementing several new strategies, which he's looking to kind of regain some of that lost momentum from over at Nike. So first up, he's mentioned that, they do acknowledge the fact that they've oversaturated the market with a lot of their classic brand staples, which they've been relying on heavily over the last few years. So those models would include fan favorites such as the Air Force One, the Jordan 1, and Dunk models. So with his new strategy, they're going to be scaling back on a lot of those releases, as well as making these pairs a lot more limited as well. And you're probably wondering, like, what models are they going to replace? If they're going to be scaling back on those, what new models or what retro models are going to be taking the forefront? So he mentioned specifically the Vomero 5, the P6000, the SHOCKS Superfly, Air Max Muse, and the classic Air Max 95. So what my guess would be is we're going to see a lot of these models actually featured on their website, at the forefront, a big push, and we're also going to see a lot of these pairs hit their retail partners as well. So most of these models would either fall into the running category or into like their retro running category, which you guys see right here. You got the Zoom Vomero 5, you got the P6000, as well as the Nike Shock. So that's interesting, rather than going with the classics that we've seen them overdo so much, they're kind of falling more into that retro running category, which seems to be kind of like one of the hottest trends right now. So is Nike a little bit too late to the game? That's kind of up for debate. Now, on top of that, it looks like their key strategy will also be to implement Nike into these different countries, but more specifically into the most mainstream popular cities here in the country. So that's going to include New York, Los Angeles, London, Beijing, and Shanghai. So it says Nike, they're going to be investing to make sure each of those locations has innovative and coveted product, a loud and proudly locally relevant brand voice, a consumer-led and balanced integrated marketplace, and passionate Nike teammates on the ground. So for everybody that's located out of those main cities, of course, like myself down here in Florida, it looks like we're shit out of luck. But for all of these big major players, I guess Nike's going to have a big emphasis on releases. More so, I think, to like kind of push the whole like social media campaigning and everything like that. So that's cool. Specifically, Nike is going to have a big, heavy emphasis on their sales over in China, which as you take a look here at this sales data, of course, Nike, they still continue to be number one over in China, but we have noticed a little trend here, as you guys see here, based off this data. Here in 2020, Nike kind of peaked out, and then we've seen a steady decline ever since then, to which in second place here, you have Anta, followed up by Adidas, then Li Ning, and then in fifth place, you have Skechers. So the trend in China has been like over the last 20 years or so, the local brands, that's what we're referring to as like Anta, Li Ning. It seems like they didn't have much trust with the Chinese consumer base. They were more so, locked in with Nike, Adidas, even like Under Armour, which remember they had the whole Steph Curry deal go crazy over there. But as I said, in like the last 20, 15 years or so, we've seen these Chinese brands begin to increase their market share, in which you see right here, Anta, they made their way all the way up to number 2 in China. So Nike, again, they're going to want to have a heavy push to kind of regain some of that lost Chinese market share. Now, also here, we've talked about Nike implementing the strategy in new locations, bringing in different models, getting rid of the just oversaturation of Air Force Ones and everything like that. And then on top of that, Nike also, they're looking to repair some of their broken relationships with their retail partners. So if you guys haven't noticed by now, a lot of releases this year, which normally would have been just exclusively dropped through the Sneakers app, we're starting to see a lot of these pairs, with different allocation being, distributed to the different retail partners, whether that's boutiques, well-known foot sides, retailers, you name it. So Nike spreading out the love. We also saw something interesting, which I've never seen. This is absolutely crazy. So on the Sneakers app, Nike had a direct link to the Undefeated Zoom Spiridons, which they actually linked directly to Undefeated's website. So you actually weren't on the Nike Sneakers app, you click the link, and then it would take you directly to their retail partner to go ahead and purchase the sneakers. So if you guys don't see that as them showing love to their retail partners, I don't know what y'all got going on right here, but you see a heavy emphasis on pushing sales and rewarding some of their retail partners. And then lastly, of course, the discounts. So last year, if you take a look at this time of the year all the way to January, Nike, they actually discounted on their website alone. They had over 30 discounts. Now, when you compare that to this year from January to now, we've actually seen 0 massive site-wide discounts actually hit Nike. So as you see, they're scaling back the inventory. They're offering less discounts, and they're looking to maximize their revenue here in 2025. Now, will this new strategy work? I'm guessing it'll probably have a direct effect, and I think it will work, you know, to kind of bring Nike back to the top. But it's all really up to the consumer. So far, we've seen Nike, as far as their Jordan releases this year, scale back, making pairs very limited. What you're seeing is resale prices go crazy, but it kind of seems like they're maybe turning away some of their longtime consumers. I don't really know. That's what I'm seeing a lot of people saying. They're fed up with Nike limiting releases, but as far as like the hypebeasts and resellers, they seem to love it. So as far as Nike's new strategy is year 1 for Elliott Hill, we'll have to revisit this next year to kind of see the direction. Everything's not going to turn around immediately in 1 year, but we're just going to continue to analyze each quarter to see if they're kind of moving into the right direction. So let me know what y'all think about Nike's new strategy. And then, of course, before we bounce, guys, we got today's poll of the day, where I simply asked you guys, as far as this week's upcoming releases, remember, this is only pairs that are dropping this week. What is the best upcoming release? And while we got so many different sneakers dropping, YouTube only allows me to put 4 options here in the poll. So we had around 1.5 thousand votes, to which the majority of you guys said them Jordan 3 Ma Maniéres were the hottest upcoming releases, which is really cool to see. Coming in here at second place, you got the Air Max 1 Poly, Big Heads, Origins, Nike's unofficial Donkey Kong collaboration. At number 3, the Jordan 1 Low Obsidian. And then, unfortunately, it's sad to see, man, in last place, you got the J Tips, I love you, but I'm busy. Which I understand, you know, Nike, they've been a staple here in the game for years now. Of course, you know, most people are going to gravitate towards those releases. But out of everything dropping, I mean, I'm rocking with J Tips, and I appreciate the 12% of you guys, you know, that went with the underdog on that one. So appreciate everybody that participated in the poll. You guys can always find that here on the community tab here from my channel. So that's all I got for you guys here on this Monday. I appreciate everybody for pulling up. Make sure you guys drop your feedback on all the topics covered here today. Plus, if you enjoyed this update, help support the channel by smashing the like button. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow. In the meantime, stay safe, stay blessed. I'm J.A. and I'm out, y'all. Love.